What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to be lifting the lid on what it is like to work with StackOptimise and go through what a typical engagement looks like from onboarding through to ongoing delivery. So without further ado, let's jump into it. First and foremost, the scope of what a typical engagement looks like. Now, when we are working with businesses, we have certain criteria that we need to fulfill in order to move forward with them. The hardest criteria is the size of their total addressable market. If they don't have enough people that we can, in theory, reach out to, then we just can't take them on. At a minimum, we require businesses to have at least 50,000 prospects in their TAM in order to work with us. Now, there are other things that we look out for as well, whether or not they have strong product market fit, a good offer, good social proof, good case studies. All of these things are going to be really important in determining whether or not this endeavor will be a success. That being said, it's not a requirement. We have worked with businesses that are pre-product market fit, and actually we've been able to take their offer to market and help them establish product market fit. That being said, your chances of success are obviously going to be significantly less. So at a minimum, we are reaching out to 10,000 contacts every single month. Our biggest customers are reaching out to hundreds of thousands of contacts every month, but this is our baseline package. Now, what you can expect from us reaching out to 10,000 contacts per month. So email is very much a volume game, and the benchmark for success across the industry right now is one positive reply for every 350 leads contacted. Our average across all our clients currently is 1 in 198. At a minimum, we're going to hit the industry average, but in reality, we're aiming for a number much closer to our current client average, which gives us a range of about 28 to 50 positive replies from 10,000 leads contacted. Now, again, these are just positive replies. Our clients typically convert about 40% of these into meetings. So from 28 to 50 positive replies, you can expect anywhere from 11 to 20 meetings per month. And then this number times your close rate is the number of deals that you can expect to close each month. From cold traffic, closing is typically harder. And if you're closing anywhere from 10 to 20% of the meetings that you're taking, you're in a very good area. So next up is your account team. When you work with us, you'll have a 4-person account team, a GTM engineer. These are our clay experts. These guys are basically just living and breathing clay all day, every day. A campaign strategist. For every client that we work with, this will either be myself or my brother. We both have 15 years B2B sales experience between us, and we always lead on the strategy and copywriting for every single client. This is arguably the most important piece of the equation, and nailing this is going to be a big factor in terms of whether or not we are successful. You have an infrastructure manager, a dedicated resource for managing all of your domains, inboxes, and setup. And then finally, a dedicated automations builder. As part of all of our packages, we're building unlimited automations for all of our clients. And this allows us to really tailor the engagement around you. We have some clients with some very custom automations and integrations, for example, pushing positive replies to their CRM, creating cool tasks in their CRM, automatically connecting with prospects through the LinkedIn profile of the CEO, etc., etc. The process itself. So at a minimum, we require a 3-month commitment. The first month is dedicated entirely towards setup. We used to have a 2-week setup period. We've had to extend this to 4 weeks because of a recent Google spam alert, which is basically flagging domains that are under 30 days old. So we really need to warm up our infrastructure for at least 30 days now. On day 31, this is when we launch your campaigns. And the first month of sending, which is the second month of the engagement, this is all about testing. We're running anywhere from 15 to 45 different campaigns. Often we're just doing one-step sequences because we just want to test so many different angles. Everything from the offer, the call to action, the personalization points, the triggers. We want to gather as much data as possible so that we can figure out what's working and what isn't. And then finally, going into the third month, which is the second month of sending, this is where we look to identify the best performing campaigns, the best performing variants, and scale them up for maximum results. Now, when we bring you on, you will be added to our client portal. Inside of the client portal, there'll be an overview of the engagement with key dates and contacts for your points of contact. You'll have a positive responses dashboard, which will basically just pull in all of your positive replies that have been generated either through SmartLead or Get Sales if we're doing LinkedIn as well. You'll be able to filter them by the date and time. An outbound dashboard. We have dashboards for all of your campaign data over time. Again, you can filter by the number of replies, positive replies in any given month or week. And then some enablement resources to help you with things like how to respond to leads, how to nurture leads, how to convert positive replies, etc., etc. You have some key links in this section here and your SmartLead login details in this section here. We'll also send you an onboarding form. Our AI will take a first stab at completing this onboarding form for you. No one likes filling out an onboarding form, so we want to make this as frictionless as possible. That being said, we do want to extract as much information from you and your team as possible around your target market, your value proposition, your ICP, so that we have as much information as possible to craft the best and most effective strategy. Now, when we put the campaigns together, every single campaign we create is built inside of Clay. And we have a pretty standardized process for how we go about this. At a minimum, we are using 2 Clay tables per workbook. The first table we use entirely for qualification. We want to be extremely rigorous with how we are processing our leads so that we're only reaching out to your ideal prospects. So our typical process is to scrape an initial list from a source outside of Clay, usually LinkedIn or Apollo, but we have a number of other databases that we scrape from as well. And the reason being is that generally speaking, we can get a greater depth of data when we combine sources outside of Clay. So in this example, we've scraped a list from LinkedIn. LinkedIn just generally has the best people data, and we've uploaded it into our Clay table here. The first table, as I mentioned, is all about qualification. We just want to make sure that these are exactly the right types of prospects and companies that you want to be targeting. So we're using a ton of AI here in order to facilitate that. And the first thing we always do is just to check the job title of this person is actually the right type of person that we want to be targeting. So whenever we're scraping large lists, in this case, a list of 24,000 prospects, whenever we're scraping a list that size from LinkedIn or Apollo, we're inevitably going to pull in some bad data. Here we're targeting CEOs and founders. We might pull in accidentally executive assistant to the CEO, chief of staff to the CEO, et cetera, et cetera. So we just want to make sure we're filtering those people out of our list. We do that with ChatGPT just to review the job title and confirm that it is the right one. Next up, we are generating a summary of the company. So we're basically just getting Clay Agent to visit the website of the company and generate us a comprehensive summary of what they do. And the reason why is because we're then going to reference that summary at later steps of our qualification. So the next thing we're doing is just qualifying on the industry. In this column, again, we're using AI to review the company summary that we've just generated and validate that this is actually a company that falls within the industries that we are targeting. If it is, we're going to output yes. If it's not, we're going to output no, and we're going to remove them from our list. The next thing we are doing is we are checking if any of these companies or individuals exist in a block list. Now, all our clients will provide us with block lists beforehand. These lists are also dynamically updated. So if a new prospect enters the client's pipeline that they don't want us to target, they'll be dynamically added to the block list. The block list we have in Clay and in SmartLead. The reason why we're checking it in Clay first is because other leads are also added to this block list, including all of the leads that have replied to us previously. And the reason why we want to do this is when we're running high volume cold email, we want to be targeting your entire total addressable market once every 3 months and then recycling the exact same list on a quarterly basis just to maximize our chances of capturing as many of those 4 or 5% of buyers that are in market at any one time. Now, ideally, what we don't want to be doing is targeting the same people that have already replied. So anyone that replies to our campaigns, they are also going to be automatically added to this master do not contact list. And then we're going to query that list anytime we build a new campaign to make sure none of those leads are in our new table. Finally, we are going to find the email addresses of our prospects. We're running a 3-step waterfall enrichment process here. We're double validating our emails in first Reune and then in Bounceban. And then we're using multiple email providers, including ICPs and Prospeo, to maximize our email coverage. Now that we've qualified that our leads fit our job title criteria, they fit our company criteria, and we found a valid email for them, we now want to push those leads to our email enrichment table. And this is where we're going to build out the copy for our email campaigns. So the way these tables typically look is, again, we're doing just a ton of stuff with AI here. We're normalizing the company name, and then we're just finding a ton of personalization points that we're going to be layering into our messaging. I'm not going to go into this stuff in too much detail here, but essentially what we're doing is just finding interesting data points, triggers, signals that are relevant to our offer that we can then use to create our personalized emails. All of the emails we then create using Claude inside of Clay. So we create the entire email with Claude, not just snippets. This way, we're able to get more variance in our outputs. So rather than having to spin tags, we just create fully AI generated emails. But also when you use snippets in a template that are populated by AI variables, sometimes those AI variables aren't coherent with the rest of the template, which is why we want to create the entire email with AI. And as long as you put the right guardrails in place, this can be a near 100% accurate process. Now we are then pushing all of these leads with their created email templates to our SmartLead campaigns, which you can see in these SmartLead columns here. If we are doing LinkedIn outreach as well, then we are going to push those leads to a separate table. The way we typically split up email and LinkedIn outreach is if we find a valid email for you, we're going to send you an email. If we don't, we're going to send you a LinkedIn DM. Typically, we can only find about 60% of valid emails for the prospects in your town, which means there's 40% of people we can't even reach via email. And so those we prioritize for our LinkedIn outreach. And it's the exact same process. We are then pushing these leads to our LinkedIn campaign table, where we go through the same flow, again, using a ton of AI to find data points, personalization points that we can layer into our messaging, creating the entire message with Claude, and then pushing those leads to Get Sales, which is our LinkedIn outreach tool. Now, when it comes to launching campaigns, we are launching a ton of different campaigns at any one time. As I mentioned, we want to be doing lots and lots of A/B testing and also segmentation. It's really important that you don't just chuck every lead into one giant campaign. We want to be doing separate campaigns for separate segments of your TAM so that we can be really targeted with who we're reaching out to and talking to their specific pain points. And we might segment along industry lines, we might segment along geography lines, job title lines, whatever makes the most sense for your offer is how we're going to go about this, because we want to be talking to the specific pain points of that specific persona. So in this case, for a client of ours, Hummingbird, they're a marketing agency, we were segmenting along both industry lines and company headcount, and we were running a ton of different campaigns with pretty high volume and getting some awesome results. So for this campaign, for example, we sent almost 40,000 emails, had a reply rate of nearly 5%, and generated them 222 positive replies. And if we've done a great job with the strategy and copy, we can expect to get replies like this, and 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 this. And this is what we're aiming to do, right? We're aiming to create email copy so compelling that no one in your target market has received emails like this before from any of your competitors or any other company for that matter. And this is the beauty of Clay. It allows us to unlock this extremely deep level of personalization and creativity with our emails and ultimately craft messages so good, it provokes a genuine emotive reaction from prospects. Now, in terms of how you receive these leads, most of our clients are on Slack, so all comms is handled on Slack. You'll have two dedicated Slack channels, one leads channel and one comms channel. Your leads channel will look like this, and anytime we generate a positive reply, we will send you a nice looking notification just like this one. We'll provide the mobile number of the lead, a snippet of the email, a button to view their LinkedIn profile, an option to set a reminder to follow up with that lead, and also a button to be taken directly to the email thread inside of SmartLead where our clients are able to respond. We also have a comms channel in here, and every Friday, your GTM engineer will send you a weekly update that looks something like this. That'll include a Loom video with a breakdown of everything that's happened in the past 5 days, as well as a summary, including the number of positive replies and any updates on the campaigns. And that's it. That's a snapshot of what it is like to work with a GTM engineering agency and to give you a bit of an idea as to how we are driving results for our clients over email and LinkedIn. Hope you've enjoyed the video.